Hello guys, I warmly welcome you to my video on Attacktive Directory CTF challenge walkthrough. So, in this CTF challenge, there are altogether 8 tasks to be completed. So, let's start with the task 1. In here, what you need to do is, first of all, you need to install the OpenVPN. So, simply you need to go to the access page. So this is the access page. Here you need to select the correct VPN server. So I have selected EU regular one. Then you need to download this configuration file. So I have already downloaded the configuration file. This is how the configuration file for the OpenVPN looks like. So now let's open a terminal in here and let's get the root access privileges. Now first what you need to do is install the OpenVPN tool in your virtual box or whatever the Kali machine you are using. So in order to install OpenVPN, first you need to use the command sudo apt install OpenVPN. So here I am not going to install this OpenVPN again since I have already installed in my computer. So simply you can install it by giving this command. After installing OpenVPN, then you need to set up the configuration file. So let's first list down what are the files in this downloads directory. So this is the one that we need. We need to configure this the configuration file for the VPN. So in order to do that, you need to give the command sudo open VPN and then the configuration file name. Then you need to give so it has, as you can see now, it says that initialization sequence completed. So let's go back to our browser and you need to refresh this. So as you can see, it says connected and it has indicated us with it with a green tick. So now we have successfully connected to the server via OpenVPN. Now what you need to do is deploy the machine. So here it says answer the questions below. So we have successfully completed this step, which is the VPN server. So let's see completed. Then yeah, our server status and connected, it is also we have done correctly. So let's see completed. Now this also completed. Once connected to the VPN, deploy the machine and get hacking. So we have successfully connected to the VPN and let's this also complete. Now let's start our machine. So as you can see, this active machine information in here, this session actually expires after 1 hour, but at the end of the 1 hour you can add 1 more hour. So it shows the IP address for this target machine in several seconds. So as we have completed the task 1 completely, let's move on to the task 2, which is the setup. In here, what I need to do is installing the tool called Impact. So simply what you need to do is just copy this command and then go to the terminal and then simply paste the command that we have copied, then press enter. Then let's move on to the second command in installing Impact. To install the Python requirements for Impact, you need to give this particular command. Then let's move on to the third command. Let's copy this one and paste. So now we have successfully installed the Impact tool. Then you need to install another tools called Bloodhound and Neo4j. In order to install those two, you need to just simply give the command apt install Bloodhound Neo4j. So let's copy and paste it in our terminal. So it's also done. So this is just the troubleshooting step. You need to no need to perform this. So all the things went well. So that's it for the task 2. So as we have completed it, let's view as completed. Let's move on to the task 3. In here, what we need to perform is the enumeration step. So in the first part, it asks what tool will allow us to enumerate port 139445. So in here, I am going to use enum for Linux tool to enumerate port 139445. Let's take the before go to the forward, the name of the tool is enum for Linux. Let's submit. The answer is correct. Now actually there is a method. As you can see, there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 in the next answer. So the answer should be a 6-character word or a 6-character answer. So now let's move on to the second part of the question. It asks what is the NetBIOS domain name of the machine. So in order to do that, let's go to terminal and take our output of the results to a new text file. Let's give the command enum for Linux -a, then the IP address. So this is the IP address, so you need to copy this one and paste it in here, and then let's take the output of these results to a new different text file. So I'm going to name it as results.txt. So we need to wait several seconds. Okay, now let's open that file. Let's list down. And here is the file that we need, results.txt. Let's copy this one and Let's see the cat command. So in here our question is what is the NetBIOS domain name of the machine? Here actually we can't find the answer. Let's open another new tab which is in the downloads folder, and now let's give the command again. Our IP address is correct, right? 10.10.242.40. This is the IP address is wrong. Let's abort this. You need to correctly copy this. It has not copied previously. That's the reason. So here you need to give the command enum for Linux a, paste this in results.txt. So you need to wait several seconds. So now let's go and see what inside this results.txt file. So actually there was some error in my VPN, so I disconnected and reconnected again. Now I think it's correct. I actually restarted my virtual machine, so now I think it's okay. Now let's give the cat command and see what is inside the results.txt. So in here, as you can see, now it's correct. It's actually previously there was an error with my connecting to the VPN. So our question is, what is the NetBIOS domain name of the machine? So in here, NetBIOS name. Here you can find that domain name is thm.ad. So let's copy this one and go to here, and this would be our answer for this second part. Yeah, it's correct. So let's move on to the third part. It asks, what invalid TLD do people commonly use for their Active Directory domain? The meaning of the TLD is actually the top level domain. So when we click on the hint, it says that the full at domain is spookysec.local. So the top level domain actually has to be .local. Let's submit this. Yeah, it's correct. So now we have successfully done with our task 3. Let's move on to task 4. So so far So actually this is about enumerating users via Kerberos. So for this enumeration I am going to use Kerberoot to get some valid usernames. So as you can see in here, it has provided us with some user list and password list, and you need to download this user list and password list. So actually I have already downloaded user list and password list. Then additionally you need to download this Kerberoot tool also. You can download it simply by clicking on here. So now let's go back to the terminal, and let's list down the files. As you can see, I have downloaded the Kerberoot successfully, but in here there's a small problem. In order to successfully run this Kerberoot tool, first you need to change permission using the chmod commands. So let's do that first. Otherwise you will not be able to run this Kerberoot tool. So you need to give chmod then you need to give another command chmod so now the permissions are set correctly. Let's list down the files again in our downloads directory. So as you can see, previously it was not can be installed like this. Now it is can be run, so you can see a clear difference. So simply now what you need to do is give the command /Kerberoot /h. When you gave that command, you can see a command named as user enum, and in the description it says that enumerate valid domain usernames via Kerberos from a list. So our question is, what command within the Kerberoot will allow us to enumerate valid usernames? So the valid, it says valid domain username, so the answer has to be user enum. Let's copy this and go and paste it in here. Yes, the answer is correct. The next part of the question, it says what notable account is discovered. Here we need to enumerate the users accounts. In order to do that, you need to give the commands Kerberoot user enum. So in here you can see what are the options. Now give the command Kerberoot user enum --dc, then the IP address of the machine, our target machine. You need to paste it -d in spookysec.local. Then you need to give the path of the userlist.txt file that we have downloaded. This is the userlist.txt. You need to give the path. The path can be found in here, so we need to copy this one and here let's paste it. And our file name is userlist.txt. Let's press enter. Now you need to wait patiently for several minutes until it loads the user accounts. So what our question is, let's go to the question while this loads. Our question is, what notable account is discovered? There are actually two answers. Two notable accounts to be discovered, and I think this is, let's stop this here. And as you can see, simply there are mainly admin account and backup account. Usually those two accounts can be considered as very important accounts. So let's copy this svc admin and paste it in here. Yeah, the answer is correct. And the other notable account has to be the backup account. Since the administrator account, actually we added one admin account, so the other important and notable account has to be this backup account. Yeah, it's correct. So now we have successfully completed the task 4 also. Now let's move on to the task 5. So in here we need to use a tool called getNPUsers.py. This is going to list down all the users that can be authenticated without a password. As we have already installed the impact previously, we are able to run this Python script directly. So in the first part of the question, it asks we have two user accounts that we could potentially query a ticket from. Which user account can you query a ticket from with no password? So in the first part of the question, we can assume that the previously mentioned admin account can query a ticket with no password, since it has admin privileges. So the answer has to be this svc admin account. Yeah, it's correct. Now in the second part of the question, it asks, looking at the hashcat examples wiki page, what type of Kerberos hash did we retrieve from the KDC? In this part, let's click on the hint first. So in here it says a URL to be followed, but before browsing this URL, let's first go to our terminal and give the command get np users.py. So these are all the options that we have when working with this tool. Now give the command get np users.py spookysec.local slash then the admin account that we mentioned in the first part of the question, which is svc admin, and then it says the no password, and then to give then you need to provide the IP address of our target machine, which is this one. Let's copy it and paste it in here. So as you can see, it has returned us some value. Let's copy and paste this text string in a new text file, because this might be useful for our future tasks. So let's copy and paste this in a new text file. So I'm going to create a new text file called hash file.txt, and here I'm going to paste this and save. Let's type this one as well, because we're gonna need this actually in a later time. So now let's keep it for a while and let's move on to the URL that is provided in our hint, which is hashcat.net key page. So when you go to the link, it redirects to a document, a file like this. So inside this web page, let's search for our text that we have found out previously, which is that we rename as hash file. Let's see the content in it. So let's search for the first part, this part, and copy, and using Ctrl F, let's search our text string. So as you can see, in the hash mode 18200, we have found out our particular text string. So our question is, looking at the hashcat examples, what type of Kerberos hash did we retrieve from the KDC? So type of Kerberos, so it means it is asking should be the hash name. Let's copy this, since it has a long answer and there are spaces in it. Here also it has 2-3 spaces. So let's paste this and submit. Yeah, now the answer is correct and we are done with that part of the question. Now move on to the next part. It does what mode is the hash. So if we move on to the document, it clearly says that hash mode is 18200. So it is also done. Now it says, now crack the hash with the modified password list provided. What is the user account's password? For this, we are going to use the hashcat password cracking tool. But First, let's echo our previously discovered hash value to a new text document, because we are going to use that file containing the hash text string. So let's first of all let's copy this one and create a new, let's name it a new hash. And here you only need to just copy and paste the hash value that we have previously found out, nothing else, and just save this. Then let's run the hashcat tool. In here now you need to enter the hash mode, which is 18200, and the file name that we have now created, which consists with the svc admin hash. So it is a new hash. And now as the word list, we are going to use the password list.txt file that we have downloaded previously in the task 4. So you need to give the command password list.txt, then force. So now we are successful. Now we have successfully cracked the password for this svc admin account. The password is management 2005. Let's copy this one and paste it. Yeah, as you can see, the answer is correct. Now we are done with the task 5 also. Let's move on to task 6. It asks what utility can we use to map remote SMB shares. So in here, when we click on the hint, we can get the idea that the name of the utility has to be SMB client, because it says itself in the hint. So as you can see, there are stars also, which is similar to the SMB client character, number of characters. So the answer has to be SMB client. Yeah, it's correct. In the second part, it asks which option will list shares. So in order to find the answer for this part, first of all, let's see the man page, which is the manual page of this tool. So in order to see the manual page, you need to give the command man smb client. So these are all the options that we have in this SMB client. What is our question? Question is which choosing list shares. Here it is. It says this option will allow us to what development server and list should appear. This is the command that we need to provide that will list shares. So the answer will be dash capital L. So the answer is correct. Then in the next part of the question, it asks how many remote shares in the server listing. So in here we need to use the command smb client while providing the username, which is our username is SMB client. So let's type SMB client. Our user is svc admin, and then we need to provide the IP address. Then give the command L to list down the shares, and the IP address is, just copy this one and paste it. Then it asks for svc admin's password. So the password is actually that we have previously cracked using the hashcat tool. So management 2005. Let's paste it in here. Yeah, now it's correct. The question is, how many remote shares is the server listing? How many remote shares? So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So the answer has to be 6. That is correct. Then in the next part of the question, it asks, there is one particular share that we have access to that contains a text file. What share is it? So here first let's check the backup share, because usually backup accounts usually have valuable and important information. So let's assume that backup account contains our particular target file, contains a text file. Let's choose the backup account. So you can give the command smb client, then our IP address of the target machine, and the account is backup, user svc admin. So it again asks the password. The password is the same password for svc admin, the correct password, which is management 2005. So as you can see, now we are inside the SMB share. So let's list down what are the files inside here. So as you can see, there is a file called backupcredentials.txt. So now let's grab this backupcredentials.txt file using SMB. In order to do that, we need to give the command get backupcredentials.txt and press enter. Okay, now let's exit from this SMB and list down whether we have successfully got that backup credentials.txt. We have successfully got that file. Just copy this and give the command cat to see the content, what information can be found inside this backup credentials.txt. So as you can see, the content inside the text file seems to be in base 64 format. So in order to decode it back to the normal format, you need to give the echo command. So what you have to do is give echo inside the quotation marks. Just simply copy this and paste. Then you need to specify it is in base 64. So question is, actually there is one particular share that we have access to that contains a text file. So we have assumed correctly that is the backup account. So the answer for this part is backup. So our assumption is correct. Then it asks what is the content of the file. So the content of the file is the text string that we have encoded in base 64. So the answer should be this one. What is the content of the file? Here you can see there are a lot of characters, so it has to be this and submit. Yeah, it's correct. So next it asks, decoding the contents of the file, what is the full contents? So once it is decoded, it gives us the username and password of this backup account. So the question is full. What is the full content? And there are actually, you can see 3 separate parts for the answer. So the answer has to be this one. It is separated by dots, because in here also you can see there are 2 dots. Yeah, it's correct. So now we have done with the task 6. Let's move on to task 7. In this part of the question, we are going to use secretsdump.py tool, which is included within the imp packet itself. So first run the particular tool. Then you need to provide the IP address of our target machine and then yes DC. Now you need to provide the password for the backup at spookysec.local that we have found out previously. This one, the previous question, this is it. This is the username and password for the backup account, and this is the password backup and this number. So let's copy it and paste this. So our question is, what method allowed us to dump ntds.dit? What method? So the method is, yeah, it says here drsuapi method. So the method name of the method is this one. Just copy and paste it. Yes, the answer is correct. Then it asks what is the administrator's NTLM hash. So inside the same results, you are able to find out the administrator's NTLM hash. The answer has to be this last part. Just copy it. Let's copy the last part of this hash string and paste it in here. Yeah, it's correct. So in the next part of the question it asks what method of attack could allow us to authenticate as the user without the password. So actually there are one by guessing by the characters there are 3 words. Actually you can google this and you can get the answer easily. So it should be pass the hash. It is the method of attack that could allow us to authenticate as the user without the password. So the answer is correct. Then it says using a tool called WinRM. What option will allow us to use a hash? So let's see the hint first. It says us to install this WinRM tool first using the gem command. So let's go ahead and install it first. So we have successfully installed our tool. Then you need to provide the command WinRM. So these are all the options that we have. So our question is what option will allow us to use a hash? So under these options we need to find something called hash. Here it is, nt hash. So this would be the answer. So as you can see there are 2 stars, so the characters are 2, number of characters are 2. Yeah, the answer is correct. So now we are done with the task 7 also. Let's move on to our final task, which is flag submission. So in here first you need to run this WinRM command by providing our IP address, username and the hash value. So let's do it. WinRM, then our target machine's IP address. Let's copy this. Then the username, which is the administrator. Then h, which is the hash. The hash value is the one that we have used for the administrator account, which has to be this is the one that previously we have used this exact part of this hash for answer. So it says establishing connection to a remote endpoint. So let's give it some time. So as you can see, now we are successfully inside the administrator's PC. So we need to move on to the administrator's desktop. So now we are in the documents directory. So let's go back and list down. Yeah, you can find something called desktop. So let's move on to cd desktop. Now list down what are the files inside the desktop of the administrator account. we have something called root.txt. Let's copy this one and see what what is containing inside the root.txt file. Here, as you can see now, question is submit the flags for each user account. They can be located on each user's desktop. So in the administrator's account desktop, we have find the text.txt file, root.txt file, and inside that we have found out the flag for the administrator account. So this is third part, administrator's account flag. This submit. Yeah, it's correct. Then let's see the second part, backup. First of all, you need to exit from the already logged in administrator account. So you need to log out. You need to do cd then list down all the users. So we have administrator backup, so the account name is backup. Let's go for the backup account next. So you need to give the command cd backup. Let's give it directly. Let's go directly to the desktop itself. Let's list down the files. So in the backup accounts desktop, we can find a text document like this. Let's copy this one and let's see what's inside it. Yeah, this is the flag for the backup account. So let's copy that one and paste it in here. So it's correct. Now finally, let's move on to the SVC admin account. So you need to first exit from this already logged in SVC admin. We have already logged in a backup account. So let's log out from this. SVC account name is SVC admin. Here it is. So let's give the command cd SVC admin and desktop. So here also let's list down what are the files in the desktop. So as you can see, there is another txt file. Let's copy this and give the cat command to see what's inside in it. Yeah, we have finally got the flag for our SVC admin account also. Let's go and paste it and submit. Yeah, now we have successfully completed this CTF challenge. So that's all for this video, and thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video as well. Thank you.